And the most important thing, people would come to me for fat loss and they would leave with a better life. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. You lose 5-10 kilos, you give a shit. Like, that doesn't fucking matter. The thing matters is that you're a better dad now. You're an amazing dad. You're super happy. You're crushing it with your career. You're living like your true purpose and you're living in alignment with your values. That stuff's priceless.
Hi guys. This podcast explores the importance of our connection, well-being, and mental health. To reason with someone is to motivate them to do or accept topics, ideas, and issues through discussion and having conversations. This podcast is for those that want to raise their awareness, change their perspective, or just have a good time. My vision is to help people find reason to live, to grow, and to understand. I do that through this podcast, as well as counseling individuals that want to help themselves.
No, he needs to know.
I just think he's gonna talk and it's gonna make a lot of sense.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
One man, one podcast. 3, 2, 1. Reason With Me Podcast, Episode 6.
It's time!
All right. Season 2. That's really exciting. Could be a bit of an upgrade now. Got a new fancy microphone. Going to be recording a little bit different style. It's all happening. So for those of you who have listened to Season 1 was all about me talking about issues, whereas Season 2 is going to be bringing in some guests. And I am so excited to bring on some of the guests in this season that are going to be really cool and interesting and innovative and really exciting in the work that they're doing and relating that back to connection, mental health, and well-being. We are going to kick it off straight away. A bit more of a longer podcast because it's an interview style, so there's going to be a lot of information to digest, and hopefully that you're able to reason with some of that stuff and resonate with what comes up for you. But yeah, we'll see how we go. The first guest, I'll do a little introduction for them. Today we'll be interviewing James Cant. He is a health coach and fitness business mentor. He's the owner of JCF Coaching and Mind Muscle Camps. He is an absolute legend. I've known James for quite a while, went to school with him, and just watched him grow his business and watched him grow in the way that he does the work that he does. He has such a massive focus on the psychological side of exercise and working out, and I just can't wait to have him on the podcast and pick his brain with all the awesome things that he's doing, the innovative way, and how that all relates back to our connection, our mental health, and our well-being. Hopefully you'll enjoy it, and hopefully you get something out of today. James, welcome to the podcast. It's good to have you on here, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, no worries. What we'll do is just crack straight in. So I did a little intro just a second ago, which gave me a little bit of information, but I'm keen to know who the hell are you and what the hell do you do?
Yeah, who the hell am I? Nice and broad. So yeah, I'm James. I feel like I'm at Alcoholics Anonymous at the moment. I'm James. I help people get healthy. That's what I do in a summary. So yeah, I'll be more specific. So what I do is I'm a health coach. I run probably one of Australia's largest online fitness businesses. Health coaching. We predominantly work with people who have issues around self-confidence, anxiety, depression, digestive issues, and body composition. One thing we find, which is absolutely freaking huge, is that the better someone looks, the happier they are. And whenever you have someone who's out of shape, there's always like a mental aspect to that as well. In fact, I firmly believe that obesity is not actually it's not a physical disease. It's actually a mental disease. That's what I think it is. And so that's like my perspective on things, the way that I help people, the way that I do. In terms of my background and how I got into this, I'm a pro bodybuilder. So I did bodybuilding for ages when everyone else was out getting partying and Jacko was having a good time. I was that nerd who was locked in my house, sleeping and going to the gym every day. So I did that. I started young, Australia's youngest pro bodybuilder. And then on top of that too, I got a degree in medical science and then a heap of other qualifications. I think that sums me up, right, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, I do know you personally, which is a bonus, which is awesome. And I guess the main thing that I'd say is you just were so smart. And obviously that medical background, as well as everything that you just said, really sums all that up as well. So which is sweet. yeah, man, that there's a few things that you said in there that I'm so keen on, which is why I wanted you to come onto the podcast today. So as you probably know, Reason With Me is about, it's about how we can relate different things and motivate and talk about different issues and topics to bring it all back to connection, mental health, and well-being. And I think a lot of what you just said, like, talks about that specifically, and even just the fact that you said about obesity being a mental condition. I mean, I definitely really relate to that. I think a lot of what happens is all going back to the mind and how we connect the mind and our body. So yeah, man, I'm keen to hear a little bit more about that. But where, obviously, yeah, when I was out partying, having a good time, being a little rat bag, you were doing the good stuff and training hard. I remember seeing you at the gym and stuff like that. You were always super motivated and dedicated. And I'm wondering now, a few years into it all, where do you pull like your main strength from to still do the work that you're doing?
It's just something that you enjoy, right? When I'm in the best mental place in my whole life. I had a couple of rough years, like a year or so back, and that was pretty shit. Early on, like through school, I had some shit years too. But like at the moment, I'm just going through my best mental state of my fucking life. Like I'm fucking prime. Business is going amazing. We've got 4 running at the moment, and they're crushing it, every single one.
Yeah.
The results we're getting our clients is fucking awesome. We're getting people lining up out the fucking door to work with us, which is just like massive. And that's just really just great for me. And whenever I find I'm doing well there, that's when training just happens, right? Training is something that, in my opinion, you shouldn't have to get motivated for. You should just inherently want to do. And if you start with the right mental state, you will crush your training no matter what, right? You will do really, really well, and you'll be always motivated, because training itself isn't fun. It's really painful, right? I'm often in a lot of pain as I'm training, and it's not like that enjoyable doing it. But the result is just so freaking awesome. And when you can delay that little dopamine response, and when you can push that dopamine response back, and you can know that you're going to get that reward long-term, that long-term reward is fucking 1,000 times. But by the way, am I allowed to swear? Well, I'm going to swear anyway. You might have to just plenty of F-bombs. But no, like when you can delay that reward, and you can know that in fucking 6 months time, like I'm going to be shredded, and I'm going to be able to look back and see how much I've suffered in order to get there. That feeling's just prime. Like that's just the best thing ever. Like absolutely amazing. So that's what keeps me going, really, is just number one, being in an amazing mental state. And then number two, just knowing that huge reward at the end, that payoff, is just absolutely sublime. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, man, that's super inspiring. I think the main part that I hear you keep saying, and I guess I want to tease that out a little bit more, is this headspace that you need to be in, and what's this optimal mental part of all of this that's going to, I guess, allow you to thrive and get that result at the end of the day is feel that emotionally and physically in your body, on a mental state, an emotional state, as opposed to a physical state as well. So yeah, I guess I want you to reason with me essentially about, fitness and the coaching that you do, and how that really ties into how anxiety plays a part in that, how stress plays a part of that, and mental health overall. So maybe perspective from you and why that's important for yourself personally, but then why that's so important for your clients and what they get out of it, and when you know the difference between. That was about 6 questions in one. Good luck.
That's right, man. That's right. What I'll say is this. So the most important thing, in my opinion, that anyone can do is to delay reward, right? I mean, the delay reward is the most crucial thing to anyone being successful and happy. Let's think about it this way. If people are more anxious and depressed than ever, right, which is fucking crazy. And my opinion on where this comes from, have whatever reward we want without even working for it, right? This is a really, really huge thing, amongst a whole host of other things, right? There's a whole host of other things like upbringings, the lack of, tribes that we have, no initiations, no coming of age rituals, anything like that. I mean, it's a whole other thing. But like one of the biggest things that I think by far is the fact that we can go and reach out, we can grab porn in a second, right? We can go pay for sex. We can go get alcohol, drugs, food, like everything, sugar. We can just have everything at our hand. And when you have all of these huge pleasures, which they're really fucking big pleasures, these are massive pleasures, like neurally, these are huge for that all the time. Well, where do we go to from next? What's going to bring us our happiness? If that high level of pleasure is our baseline now, what's going to take us beyond that? And I think that's like the biggest thing. If you can introduce a little bit of suffering into your life, And I'm not saying suffering is in like hurt yourself, injure yourself, kill a family member type suffering, right? It's like it's suffering in terms of go through and do something painful, right? Do something difficult. Go train yourself and flog yourself in the gym. Restrict yourself from eating shitty food. Go off grog, go off drugs. Go and actually make your life a little bit tough. I think that's the best thing. And with all of our clients, every single one of them note this. When they come into us, come work with us, they're like, fuck, there's actually a fair bit I got to do. Like there's a lot of work that I got to put in. But every single person who comes through it and sticks it out and just works through it, and literally everyone sticks it out. We've got literally 100% success rate with this. Wow. Every single person who does it comes in and says, fuck me, this is the best thing I've ever done. I'm now happier. I'm now better with my work. I got a better relationship with my wife. You know, I look better. Like every single part of my life is better. And I think that like the most important thing that anybody can do is to abstain from pleasures all the time. Do something that's a little bit challenging and work towards a long-term goal. Put everything towards that long-term goal, because when you do that and you stay in line with your values and you maintain a high level of integrity, that is when you're going to be at your peak.
But I think I'm getting a pretty good idea is that it all comes back to having like integrity was something that I picked up on. Like that's so important, and then having goals that you're willing to challenge yourself to do, and having that real basic willingness to just go and have some pain and have some suffering in that fact of I'm going to push myself today. I might not think that I can do it right now, but I'm going to persevere and I'm going to give myself that chance. And I guess, you know, the work that you're doing is being able to help people guide them into that place. So I watched a video of yours the other day where you said almost 100% of your clients have anxiety. So how do you first get them to understand what the hell that even is in a mental way, and then where along the journey do you guide them into shifting that?
Yeah, so we have a whole heap of tests which go through and run it. So we actually, as much as we are a fitness company, we also do integrate a lot of psychology as well.
That's why you're here. That's why you're here.
Exactly, man. Exactly. We integrate a lot of tests, and that number one gives like a numerical value. That's one thing I find is really fucking helpful. Psychology can be so subjective, right? And it's all like, how do you feel? Do you feel this way? Do you feel that way? It's very, very difficult to put a numerical value on that. So our tests actually put a number on it. Now, it's not 100% accurate. It gives you a really, really freaking good guide and allows you to actually visualize something, right? So that's what we do is we run our tests at the start. We talk with them about, you know, these things that they're feeling. We help them understand why they're feeling like that, what's happening chemically, but also within their life and the actions that they're taking in their life, which are causing them to feel like that. And then how we fix it and we start getting them to break through this is literally say, hey, look, I've coached 4,000 people. Here's where they are right now. Here's what they have to say. This is where you are over here at the start of your journey. You can be here. This is the proven process. All you need to do is follow it, and we'll help you support you the whole way through. So the way that we do it is we do it through structure. Right? We have a very, very set structure so that you can follow it. Like Dad said, a monkey could follow our programs, right? They're so simple, so easy to follow, but at the same time, so customized that it's you do it, you get the result. It's a piece of piss, and it just works. And then at the same time, what we do is we teach and we educate. I'm a big fan of education because at the end of the day, I'm going to die at some stage, right? I do a lot of crazy shit, except when, like, obviously not when I'm in lockdown at the moment. I can't do anything, but like I do a lot of crazy stuff. There's a high likelihood that I'm going to die in the next few years of my life, right? So it could happen. And like with that, I want to make it so that pretty much when I die, all of my knowledge doesn't just get stuck with me, right? I've had the pleasure of helping many, many thousands of people. I've had some incredible people. People are coming to me, they're like literally wanting to kill themselves, hate their lives, that sort of stuff. And now they're crushing it, right? And they're fucking happy. And they say, James, I literally got a message the other day. It said, James, you have no idea how unhappy I was before I started working with you. And I'm now at the best point in my life. Like, this has been like the craziest couple of months ever.
How good is that? How good is that?
It's fucking sick, man. Every time you get that. And I get a lot of those. And I'm like, shit, what I'm doing fucking works. I don't want it to die with me. So my big thing is to teach these people so that they can teach their family, they can teach their kids. We can keep spreading this information down generation after generation. Because I think we've had a massive loss of that, our tribes, and we've gone into, larger communities. We've lost a lot of that information, knowledge that's been passed down. We don't get that anymore. That's why people are so unhealthy and so stunted emotionally. I really want to pass that down, because if we do this, we can hold on to it, and we'll actually be able to have generations of people who are actually, performing at the level of their higher selves.
Yeah, man. I think that's so true. I think a lot of our society, we're super individualistic and we don't have that community base anymore. So I think sounds like what you're trying to do is essentially show your network and your clients that this stuff's working, but then also what is also to flourish is the fact that then I'm going to teach you how to give that to others and how amazing it is when we can break it down in that way to actually give you back that knowledge, and then they can implement it like that. The other thing that you said, which is, definitely what I do with a lot of my clients, is you need structure and you need a routine, and that can't be A to Z through to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it gets too complicated, you're setting them up to fail. So I think what you said about structure is so important. And damn, man, it proves it with your results, the fact that that's going to lower your anxiety and therefore enable you to do some of these things and get those goals that they're wanting to achieve. Man, that's awesome. Yeah. So it's so cool. So when you talk about you talk a lot about in your videos about like mindfulness and breathing and stuff like that. Now, how do you tie that in to training, like and the importance of that? I mean, I know that for years that I went to the gym and I'd be, do I inhale, do I exhale, like what the hell is going on? But on top of just knowing when to push and to pull, it's to actually regulate your body. Can you talk to that a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure, man. So like with that, we have all of our guys on like an actual, we have a system of breathing, which we teach. We get everyone to follow. So we incorporate a lot of breathing because, as you know very well, the breath regulates the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system regulates anxiety. And you can literally stop someone having an anxiety attack through breathing. It's pretty crazy. So like with that, we do a lot of that. We program a lot of that sort of stuff in, and we just train them to breathe well. Because at the end of the day, when you have a healthy nervous system, you have a healthy mind, you have healthy breathing.
Oh yeah.
You then in turn have healthy movement patterns, and it just comes in automatically. So we don't, as such, say to people, you need to do this, you need to hold this breath for so many seconds and then go and lift. We just have the system in there, and then the body takes care of the rest.
Awesome. I think it's so. I'm reading a lot of stuff at the moment, and it's definitely where my therapy is starting to go a little bit more. Is that it's somatic psychotherapy, where essentially our body keeps the score of what's happening in our mind. And you have it a lot. You talk about back pain or chronic pain, and like all these doctors are saying, "Oh, we don't know what it is," but at the end of the day, what's so paramount is it's stress. It's stress, and it's the fact that we've changed what's going on for us. And like you said before, like we're more depressed and more anxious than ever as humans. One in 5 have a mental illness in Australia, which means that we're doing something wrong, and it's displaying itself in the body.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I had a client. This bloke's a fucking legend, Rob. Rob's a really good dude. And he came to us and he had his shoulder, which was stuck up. So all these scalenes and everything were just really, really tight. All these neck muscles were really tight. His traps were tight. He was literally stuck like this. And he's been to chiros, physios, acupuncturists, doctors, like everyone. And they all come back with all these bullshit reasons, take a bit of his money, tell him to go do some stuff, and it doesn't work, right? Came to us, and I asked him, I was like, okay, Rob, so when did this first happen? Right here? And he said, oh, it happened about 4 years ago. Okay, cool. What was going on 4 years ago? Oh, I was going through a divorce. Oh, okay, cool. Was it a particularly messy divorce? Yeah, it was actually really bad. I'm like, okay, well, no fucking wonder, right, this has happened, because what's happened there is that your body's gone into the stress response where doing that and elevating your shoulders up, that's something that we do when we breathe. You look at with boxers, right? They always box with their shoulders elevated, right? It's a very, very stressful position that we're going to do. And pretty much it's great for when you're in that period of fight or flight and you need to survive. But for every other part of your day, it's not there. And so literally all we got Rob doing was a couple of pressure points that we do. And then on top of that too, some breathing. And then bang, within a week it was gone. I had another guy, Jordan, same thing. Came to me with chronic headaches, like literally for years. He's been to doctors, he's been to specialists, been to everyone. They couldn't fix his tension headaches. And we go through and we tell him to do some breathing. It was hilarious, right? Because literally within 15 minutes or 20 minutes of the phone call, he's like, holy shit, it's gone. This is the first time I haven't had a headache for like years. And then he messages us a week later. And he's like, boys, I haven't had a headache all week. It's all I do. Like, I can't thank you enough. And it's like, it's crazy because that's literally all that you need to do. If you regulate the nervous system, if you regulate the mind, you can completely change how the body, well, not change the body, you can completely fix any malfunctions that are going through the body and make it better.
Oh man, 100%. I think that there's so many people out there that's still thinking like, oh, if I've got back pain, or if I've got shoulder pain, or I've got neck cramps, or whatever it is, constipation, gut health issues, whatever it is, it's like, that's not related to my mind. What are you talking about? They're completely disconnected, and that's such a Western way of thinking. So, like, what would you say to people that are like, no, there's no way that shit's connected?
No, we'll keep going your way, and you'll keep not getting results, right? I mean,
Same old
you
shit gives
keep
you the
going
same
your
old
way, and you can
results.
keep. Yeah, exactly. It's as simple as that. Look, in the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if someone doesn't believe like what I do. That's cool. You're allowed your beliefs and all that, but you can't deny my results, right?
That's it.
I get people, person after person, time after time, and they literally they can't get results. And these guys have spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on trying to get themselves fixed using Western methods that don't work. And then they come to me and they get fixed in like moments, like in literally no time, and it costs them like literally fuck all. And I say, look, that's my results. This is what this does. Western medicine is phenomenal for when you're in the emergency ward. If you've just lost your leg, if you've got a massively broken bone, if you're fucked up and you're about to die, we're great at that. We're fantastic. But anything else, forget about it, right? Forget about it. If you go in with depression, you go to a doctor, what do? Oh, here you go. Pop some Tic Tacs. Here's some Zoloft. Here's some antidepressants. Here you go. Enjoy that. There's literally nothing looked into why the fuck the depression's there in the first place. There are so many things like that are just they're just in my mind just blatantly just stupid, right? Just terrible about Western medicine. So yeah, that's the reason why the Western approach doesn't work. It doesn't look at the root. It doesn't look at the word root. In fact, the best reason to know why it doesn't work is because it just doesn't get results. Simple as that.
Yeah. We're very good at putting band-aids over shit that is clearly much bigger than a band-aid needs to be.
100%.
Yeah. Man, there's just so much more than I was expecting, which is so great. I think there just should be so many more. And that's the whole purpose of this podcast is I want to get more people that have some really down to earth common sense, but are doing things in a bit of an innovative and creative way. It's like the fact that it's innovative and creative is sad because we all should be doing it this way. And that's the point, And I think, man, I mean, you could tell me how many coaches and PTs and physios and all this shit that are out there that just don't understand that connection with our mental health.
And people choose the wrong thing, right? We all know people who've gone through med school, going through med, and they come out the other end and they're like, fuck, I actually hate this, right? I don't want to do it. What are you going to do, right? Are you going to give that up? Are you going to give up that high-paying job, right? That $200,000 a year job? Are you going to give that up and just cop your 50 to 100 grand of debt, not make any money on it? No, of course you're not. It's logical. It's the way that most people think. We're just going to pay that debt back off. We're going to live a good life and be comfortable. There's no passion left, though. That's the thing. And that's the reason why so many of these physios, chiros, psychologists, doctors, all these specialists, right, are there and they're so disenchanted with it because they spent a lot of money, invested a hell of a lot of years. They got sold a dud. They come out on the other side and they've just invested everything in it. And they're like, shit, I actually hate this. And that's why it's like that.
Yeah, I better do this for a few years and get my money back, but have no passion and drive and understanding as all the things that I've missed in this process. I mean, you look at from when you started to where you are now in terms of connecting all the psychological stuff. Where how do you think that's been progressive as well and adapted along the way?
Yeah, massively. I mean, I started off just coaching bodybuilding, right? Imagine if I spent 5 years just studying to coach bodybuilding. I would be fucking bored out of my mind right now. I'd hate it. We don't even coach bodybuilders anymore. And pretty much where I started doing that was when I started having my own issues and started seeing that I got IBS really, really bad. It just absolutely knocked me. I went from being, one of the top bodybuilders in the world in my class to like a nobody in like a matter of months just because it rocked me so hard. And then anxiety, depression, all that stuff that followed through with that. And like, that's what really led me to go fucking hard on figuring out what the root was. The doctors all fleeced me. They cost me a shitload of money, gave me no results. Standard story. We've all got a doctor story like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And pretty much that's where I was like, oh, well, I've got to go find my own way then. I've got to do my own. And that's where I stumbled across a lot of this stuff. I had one fantastic mentor. Unfortunately, he's dead now. Really brilliant guy. Really, really brilliant dude. But I had him and he pretty much helped me get into a lot of this stuff. And then since then, I've just tried to expand as much as I can on his work and build it out. And that's how I got to this stuff. And the reason why I kept pursuing it was because the more I went down this way, the better my results were, the faster my clients got. And the most important thing, people would come to me for fat loss and they would leave with a better life. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. You lose 5-10 kilos. Who gives a shit? Like, that doesn't fucking matter. The thing matters is that you're a better dad now. You're an amazing dad. You're super happy. You're crushing it with your career. You're living like your true purpose and you're living in alignment with your values. That stuff's priceless.
Yeah, I mean, it's so priceless to walk in with one goal and walk out with like 6 other certificates and doing well in your life. I think that's insane. And I think the fact that lived experience is such a beautiful thing at the end of the day. If you want it to be, if you want to take on what I guess anxiety, depression, past relationship issues, whatever it might be, and then use that to grow. I think that just leaves us all thriving at the end of the day if we choose to then act on what it is. And you've definitely done that. I think, man, I don't know a lot of that story, but I do know that what you've been able to create off the back of that and how, mental health is such an important part in the work that you do right now. And I think that's exactly, we have such a line in that whole process is all of that. So I guess I'll take a shift and wind down a little bit, but obviously we've all got where everybody's fucking stressed. Everybody's, in some way anxious or showing signs of depression at one point or another in our lifetime. So what do you do to keep well? Like, what is it that's self-care? I mean, obviously you're going to say fucking working out. I get it. But like, give me some other things. Like, what is it that is non-negotiable for you in your day that keeps you well?
Yeah. First of all, I don't give a fuck about working out. Hey, like for most people, I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me if they train or not. The most important thing is you always start with your head. What I do is, number one, I have a job that I love. Most people work in jobs that they're not passionate about and don't align with their values. Right? Yeah? Simple as that. If you work a job that aligns with your values, then you're going to be fine. You're always going to be healthy, because when you're having that, that means the majority of your day is spent serving, doing something good, building, creating a better future, right? So that's what you're doing. When you have that, you're going to be happier. When you're happier, you have more energy. When you have more energy, you want to go out and do more shit, right? You want to be healthy. You want to be better. You want to create your body to be the best that it can be. You're not attracted to all these high dopamine responses. You're not attracted to shitty food. You're not attracted to sitting down playing computer games. You're not attracted to porn, all that sort of stuff. So instead, you go outside and you explore and see your life is, and you live it, and that's how you be happy. Simple as that.
Yeah, man, that's so good. And obviously, you got a really, really nice partner behind you, and her food looks insane. I see some of the meals that she creates for you as well. And I guess that self-care in itself is having that person that you can really connect with. I can see her sort of bobbling her head around the back there. But I think, having that on your side as well, I think is so important. Or just someone that you have that's really connected to you.
100%.
Yeah. Awesome. So take me through a day. What is like number one thing? This is non-negotiable through my day. So for me, I think it's I meditate at night. And then I'll really love cooking. So that's sort of non-negotiable. I got to make sure I enjoy myself while I'm cooking, and I'm doing some cool meditation at night or in the morning before I, do my day to ground myself to be good.
I don't have one thing, man. I got my whole life pretty much set up, but like if I had to put it down to one thing, it's just as long as I'm further ahead in every single area that I want to be, and today than what I was the day before. That's the only thing I care about.
Yeah, man. So real positivity and having that really strong head game.
Yeah, 100%.
Sick. Oh, that's so good. So I ask everybody on the podcast, what would like a go-to book or maybe motivational video, like what would that be for you, that's something that's inspired you in your life and been a good avenue to take you to like the next step?
I don't really watch much TV, man. I don't really read many like fiction books. I pretty much, for me, the biggest thing that I see is whenever I have a positive result with whenever I have something which is really, really important happen to me more, I just try and get more of that. Radio, anything which is happy, be it success with business, success with clients, success with relationships. That's what I do. That's my big thing. So in terms of like, I'm probably like the worst person to ask that question to, dude, because I don't have anything. I've never had idols. I've never had people I want to look up to. I'm trying to think to give you an answer, but I can't give you one.
That's fine. You know what? As I was saying that, I was like, you know what? I bet you we're not too far away from seeing a book by yourself or some sort of, really nice inspirational thing all put together. I know you've got some stuff online, but compacting all that together, I think we be so useful to so many people. Maybe that's in the pipeline already.
Yeah, if you have a design, you know what your values are, and you got that down pat. You don't need the inspiration or motivation; it just comes.
Yeah, man. I think what's really amazing to hear from you is you and so important. I talk about this a lot. Is you pull your own esteem from within, and that takes time and that takes energy. And I think the fact that you're number one, and the fact that you're able to set your own boundaries and have your own way of thriving, and you don't need anybody else to do that. Like, that's a hard challenge, man, but you sound like you got that down pat, and I think that's such an inspirational thing to be with right now.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. So look, we'll probably wrap it up in a minute, but why don't you tell me what's going on for you at the moment? Where can people find you? How can people reach you?
Just type in James Cant anywhere on the internet, any social media, and I'll pop up. Right, I'm everywhere. We've got a really, really amazing team who manage that, including Soph. She manages a lot of that for us. So yeah, just type in James Cant, you'll be able to find me. We're on Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got TikTok, we've got websites, we've got like absolutely everything you want. If you want to find any of my content and learn more about how you can get the same results that my clients do, literally just jump on my Facebook. We post up a lot of stuff on there. There's a whole heap of free shit which you can just go in and try out and play around. It'll be really, really helpful for you guys.
All right, awesome. Well, everyone can go and find that on my show notes page on my website. I'll have all those links set up there. And yeah, you can get a bit more information. So you want to hit James up through there. It's been such a pleasure having you on, bro. It's honestly been so nice, and I got so much more than I thought I would, which is so great. So honestly, honored to be able to talk with you, man.
It's cool, man. It was a pleasure. Good chat.
Good chat indeed.
Do you want to find out more about how therapy can help you kick some goals? Go check out findreasontherapy.com.au or the Find Reason Therapy Instagram page.